continuing here from Boreo's 8891 McDonald's Parkway in Cicero, New York. Great upstate New York venue. Gives you an opportunity to not only have great food and a great atmosphere, but you can come outside. You can drink at the bar. You can have your food out here at the bar. You can take a boat out. If you're out here and you have a boat out on Oneida Lake, you can feel free to do that. There's islands right behind us that you can see here. Islands that are right next to each other out there in the water, as well as everything else, the gazebos that are out here and everything that's in front of us to sit outside and truly get that experience like you're on vacation. I think about Rhode Island, Florida, when you're right on a pier and you're getting that opportunity to enjoy the water. So I think it's something that goes unnoticed in Central New York, but you definitely have to come and check it out. Boreo's Restaurant, phenomenal food, and the two of us guys. I mean, who wouldn't want to come out and see us, Rob? So Rob Drummond, Syracuse CFL and NFL alum, as well as being the man who created RAPS, a system that we're going to get into later on here in our live broadcast from Boreo's 8891 McDonald's Parkway in Cicero. But I want to go back to what we were talking about before in the first video that you need to check out here on wakeupcalldt.com and youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. And that is about your history and your time here and what you accomplished here. That Auburn game, to go a little bit more into it, there were a lot of fans out there. I actually just met a fan recently that went out to the game, spent, and it's kind of funny is that my wife, that I can say now, my wife Kate, her grandfather, who's now become a grandfather to me, he went out for 5 days, and they had this trip where he went from Binghamton up to Syracuse, flew everybody down, and they were sending back and forth planes from Syracuse to Louisiana and back to pick people up and bring them down for this game, which they said had a huge Syracuse crowd. Did you really feel that when you were down in Louisiana?
No, that's the one thing I did for my entire 4 years at Syracuse. I always felt the fans, I always felt the crowd, because being from Syracuse, it was my hometown. So we really appreciated the fans being there. And the one thing we did is we always said to ourselves as players, we sat there and we wanted to just not win that or go to this bowl game just for us, but give the fans who supported us for the entire year something special to look forward to at the end of the year. So, for us going to a New Year's Day bowl game, that was something special for us to give back to the fans. And that was our way of, saying thank you.
When you know that there's such an outpouring of support that you had back then, when the game was coming to a close and Auburn was going for the field goal and there was a lot of boos going out that Auburn wasn't trying for a win, they weren't trying to get a victory and didn't want to take the loss, what was going through your mind when you were on that field in that moment, feeling like we've had them the whole game and now it's coming down to this field goal?
You know what? The cowards. They didn't want to lose to a team from the north. We proved what we would do a few weeks before when we went for the 2-point conversion against West Virginia. We could have easily went into the Sugar Bowl because the Sugar Bowl was guaranteed for us. We could have went into the Sugar Bowl 10-1 by losing West Virginia, but we went for a 2-point conversion to win that game. Had we not made that 2-point conversion, we would have lost that game. But we showed our moxie, we showed our pride, we showed our ability to be able to go out there and play a game for what it's meant to be. A game's meant to be played either win or lose. You know what? If you want to practice, go out there and practice, but we're not the team. At that point, we wanted to win, and Auburn showed their true colors.
When you look back on that moment, do you see that as a victory, or do you see it as something that was stolen from you? I mean, how do you remember that time?
I see the University of Auburn as nothing but a bunch of cowards. You know what? They were afraid to lose to a team from the north. All they could do was sit there and brag about SEC champs. You know what? We proved what we did for the SEC champs. We took it to them, and basically beat them. They had to kick a field goal and tie us. The following year, we played LSU, the SEC champs, in a Hall of Fame Bowl. Same thing. We were a team ranked pretty high in the country, so were they. But you know what? They walked around with all this brash and all this bully and all this swagger as if they were supposed to, world beaters, up and down. We were walking down Tampa, and right from the opening kickoff to the game. One thing I'm proud about that game, not just the victory, but I knocked 5 players from LSU out of the game physically. So they weren't as tough as they thought, and they're not as tough as they think.
From the running back position, for you to knock 5 guys out of the game, what was going on? I mean, when you were going up against them, was that your mentality of this killer mentality, just get them out of the game, or were you just doing you and they weren't ready for it?
Yeah, the funny thing is me about a player is I do have a killer mentality as a player. It's like when I step onto the field, anybody I've ever played with will tell you the same thing. I'm the most ferocious, fiercest, toughest SOB you'll ever want to meet in your life. You do not want to run into me. And that's the way I approach the game, and that's the way I play the game. I play the game with reckless abandon. I play the game each play like it may be my last play. And I was going out there to take out whoever didn't have the same color jersey on me. I was going to make you remember my name once you left that game.
Has there ever been, from what you know in history, another Syracuse running back that was responsible for taking 5 guys out of the game?
None that I know of, but I know Jim Brown had the capacity to do it. You know, he had the size, the speed, the power, you know, but Larry Zonka also had the capacity to do it. But you know what? It was a game. I was going out there. I was playing with heart. I was playing with conviction. I did the same thing that day that I did every weekend and week out. And I was just go out there and play as hard as I could and leave it all on the field.
When you look back on those moments at Syracuse, you know, we've talked about the Hall of Fame Bowl, you know, we've talked about, you know, what you've done against LSU and what you did against Auburn, a lot of successes. What are some of the other things that you have as some of your fondest memories? Because it seems like when you go to Syracuse, it never leaves you. Mm-hmm. So what stuck around with you?
I mean, just the group of guys I was with, you know, and the camaraderie we had, you know, and just the ability for us to, even with Facebook and everything and social media, for us to stay together and reconnect. You know, those guys really molded me as a young adult and a young man, you know, and I think I did the same for them. You know, it's just a family. I mean, it's our family being able to go out there and, you know, just depend on one another, rely on one another, and believe in one another to be able to go out there and go to bowl game after bowl game. You know what? And it's a very, very fond memories. One of the toughest memories I have from Syracuse is when I went out there was playing my last game in the Dome, because all my life I had played at the Carrier Dome. You know, and I believed in myself, and I sat there and said to myself, this is the last time, you know, I'll be able to play at the Carrier Dome, and that was tough for me. You know, but for me to sit there and not be able to go out there and play another game in Syracuse, that was very tough for me. But it was a touching moment. My family was there, my friends were there, the fans were there, so it was just something I really cared about.
Rob Drummond, former Syracuse NFL and CFL player, running back, and at the same time creator of Raps, which we'll get into. I'm Dan Tortora of Dan Tortora Broadcast Media. We're live at Borio's, 8891 McDonald's Parkway in Cicero, New York, with a phenomenal view, great food, and a great atmosphere. Hope to have you out here and appreciate you tuning in.